Greetings! What's up? And a very warm welcome to the channel. The sun is shining and the magpie is casting. Coming at you guys right now with a 2v2 live look-in. So this is going to be some first-person footage of me, Magpie842, playing a 2v2 with my ally Idlewood. Our opponents today are going to be Broody and Messagician, who's going to be a British and Soviet player there. And so yeah, this video is intended for players who are slightly newer to the game perhaps, been playing it for a while, get the basics, but want some tips and tricks regarding making playing the game easier, and maybe just some strategies and tactics as well. Now once again, I'm going to be playing as Overcommand, I guess this is going to be more relevant to budding Overcommand players out there, but there's probably still going to be some like mechanical stuff which other players can pick up on as well. So without further ado, let's begin the replay. So this is just me checking out the enemy commanders. I always like to make some mental notes and figure out, what to look out for and try and figure out which commander they've picked based on their early game unit choices and such. And the game begins. So the first thing I always do, my Storm Pioneers are always control group 4. I don't know why that is. Actually I do, it's because I normally have like between 1 and 3 squads of Volksgrenadiers who sit on numbers 1, 2 and 3. So immediately select those Storm Pioneers and make them control group 4. They're going to head out onto the field, and I believe I've rallied them to go and capture the further away munitions point. This is because it takes longer to get there, it takes longer to capture, and I want to deploy that Overcommand truck. So I want to secure that territory earlier. It also helps to get some munitions flowing at an earlier time, and allows those Storm Pioneers to move out onto the map faster. Volksgrenadier is going to be the choice after that. This is just me spamming APM, by the way, so don't worry about all this stuff that I'm doing. I don't know, when I'm playing RCSs, I like to warm up by clicking things and get used to doing things pretty fast. And anyway, so yeah, the build order here is going to be Volksgrenadiers into Kubelwagen, pretty much my standard opener. The Volksgrenadiers, I like to get them out first because they're slower to get to the front, and this means that the Kubelwagen and the Volksgrenadiers will catch up to my Storm Pioneers more or less the same time, depending on the map and things like that. But it just helps get all my units to the front in a more cohesive wave. So yeah, the Volksgrenadier is going to capture that point to the north. Storm Pioneers just making sure they've got that building there. Just rallying my units. The Kubelwagen's going to capture this point.
You're beginning to agitate me. You're beginning to agitate. Obviously, you were dropped on your...
I also quite enjoy the little comments that units say when you click on them repeatedly, so that's what I'm doing. You're beginning to agitate me, and things like that. It just amuses me, so I do like to click on those. Now my ally has highlighted that point there, so he's asking if I can go and capture that basically, and I do have a Kubelwagen in the hood, so it's quite easy for me to cruise on over and grab that. Now a truck, there it is, boom, just coming onto the build queue. The nice thing about going for Volks, Kubel, Volks is that you then get like the fuel and manpower for a truck more or less precisely, so you'll notice that leveled my spending, therefore being quite efficient. Now that's a Vickers gun. Now I've managed to catch it in the open, as it were, undeployed, so my Storm Pioneers are going to be able to get up on top of that, trying to run around to the side of the arc, and now I'm just pursuing it directly now that he's packed up. Volksgrenadiers here going to find those Tommies, and they're going to get into heavy cover. Now I put the Storm Pioneers next to the building here so that they do masses of DPS and are outside of the arc there. Going to bring the Kubelwagen into the fight for a little bit of backup. Second squad of Volks entering the field. They become control group 2 and get sent to the front, and the Schwervermacht Schlepper truck is now on its way. Get a squad wipe on that Vickers, so that's a really nice start for me. That's very strong. It's 280 manpower for my opponent that's down, and here we have a Bren carrier. So this has to be treated with some care. Bren carriers are pretty spicy, but at this range actually Storm Pioneers do some pretty good damage to it, so I'm going to focus it down here and see if he's going to get it out of there. He kills 2 of my Storm Pioneers, so that has to be a fallback. Storm Pioneers, of course, way too valuable a squad to lose at this stage in the game. You must not lose your Storm Pioneers early on. In fact, to be honest, if you can avoid losing them, just do. So yeah, Volk's going to take that fight from heavy cover, and the Bren carrier is wounded enough that my Kubelwagen can actually bully it a little bit, so I'm bringing the Kubelwagen into the fight, and I was considering attacking the engineers, and I was like, nope, let's focus this Bren and get it out of the fight. So that's what's happening there. Here comes another wave of conscripts and stuff though, so playing a little bit cautiously. Now that was a misclick. I thought I had the Volk selected, but I actually had the Kubelwagen selected, so I had to retell it to reverse move. Of course, to press U to reverse move is pretty good. Going to put down my Battle Gripper HQ there. So yeah, when microing vehicles, press U to reverse and click behind them, and that's the way to get them to reverse smoothly. My ally just having some technical difficulties there, but he should be okay. Seems like he's back now. So I've got my Volksgrenadiers in heavy cover. Kugelwagen's getting hit really badly by that Maxim, or is it a Vickers back there, so he's going to have to get out, and unfortunately my engineers have only just got back to base, so they are reinforcing. I was able to press 4, hit R twice, get them reinforcing, and they're going to be coming back as soon as possible, but they're not going to be here for a while. My battle group at HQ is still deploying, and this puts me in an awkward position. As you can see, I have to fall back I have to try and move my Volksgrenadiers back. Ideally I'd like to just fall them back because they're getting suppressed and shot up, but I can't because the forward fallback point isn't researched, and it would be awfully wasteful to actually press fallback and send them all the way back to base. So I'm having to sort of limp them back and getting shot in the back a bit. But you know, these are the things that happen. Now that the battle group at HQ is finished, I can now immediately reinforce, and you'll notice I went for the forward retreat point, but then I was just like, actually, you know what? That's not going to be much use right now. What I need is a light gun to counter these MGs. So I normally go for the forward retreat point first, but I'm under so much pressure, I decided that I need that light gun to help counter the MGs. Now, the Bren carrier comes in for another go, and I'm able to deflect it with my Storm Pioneers, but that machine gun's pushing up pretty hard, and all my Volks are suppressed, and I can't use the fallback tricks to get rid of that suppression, so I'm just having to, like, treacle them around, and it's really annoying. You can see I'm just trying to minimize damage on all my units here. And then I'm like, okay, so I need to flank the MGs. Let's send those Volks up to the north, get that Kugelwagen repaired and back in the fight. This is a nasty position my opponents have me in here already. I'm kind of on the back foot here, which is really bad. So those Volks are going to try and go round, looking to try and get an incendiary grenade or something onto one of the MGs. But my ally comes in with a squad of Flamer Pioneers there, which really helps. There's where the Bren carrier is being repaired, and those Volks have already taken too much damage. And remember, I don't want to fall them back if I can avoid it, because otherwise they'll be out of the fight for way too long. So I'm going to have to run them back whilst they're taking loads of fire. Again, suboptimal, but such is life when you're on the back foot with MGs pressuring you. Kugelwagen comes back into the fight. Little far forward there, but luckily Tommies don't have AT grenades, so nothing to fear there. Positioning my guys behind cover here to try and using that stone wall there to help me in the fight, shooting towards the north. The Maxim gun gets displaced by my ally there, which is very nice. And that flamethrower there being really annoying, so I'm able to shuffle my Volks down. I got the Shrek upgrade and I knew it was going to finish soon, so I was able to shuffle them down the line. And again, I can't really fall back any of these units, which is really annoying, but those Storm Pioneers are suppressed and taking way too much fire, and they're so expensive, I can't risk losing them, so they have to fall back. And that's annoying, because they're not going to be on the front for like another minute or so. Light gun arrives, I'm going to position it safely at the back. I don't want to expose it to fire. It's not as far forward as it could be, but it is safe there, and it will be able to reach the MGs, and that's all I need it to do right now. So it's just going to happily live there. Kugelwagen's probably too wounded to take a fight at the moment. With MGs and an enemy Bren carrier out there, he can't really take a fight, so he's going to have to wait for the Storm Pioneers to come back. Now there's the Bren carrier, I can see he's upgraded the thing. There's a barrage coming down off the light gun to get rid of that MG. Now unfortunately that squad of Volksgrenadiers in the north does not have a Panzerschreck upgrade, so no work can be done against that Bren carrier that's repairing there, which is a little frustrating, but this happens. Engineers, my Storm Pioneers have been repaired. They're on their way back to repair that Kugelwagen. The light gun has displaced the MG, and this has given me a bit more freedom. I've broken out of this like horrible situation that they had me in with the MG, and now I'm going to look to take that victory point. The reason for this is because we're behind on score, and it's an important thing to have now. There's a shot on the Bren carrier, and that's an easy shot for a Shrek. At that range, you'll seldom miss. And that's a nice takeout. That's like 20 fuel, and he also had it upgraded with an MG, so that's a number of munitions lost for him as well. So that's a nice thing to have. Going to grab the second Shrek on my second squad of Volks now. Storm Pioneer's just going to repair that Kugelwagen. Buying my next truck just now. Going to look to establish the Schwerer at HQ, probably in a fairly defensive position to cover that battle group at HQ that I have there. The forward fallback research has been completed and is now turned on, so I can fall back my units pretty easily. Now I'm just queuing up, so I'm just telling my guys to... You can shift queue up, jumping over walls, so if you hold down shift and then right click on the wall, you can tell your guys to jump over it and then tell them where you want to go next. So shift, holding shift to queue up orders is super useful in this game. You can use it for all kinds of things, like maneuvers on your vehicles, shift queuing up movement and then grenade throws, you know, whatever you want. Another light barrage going to come down on that Vickers, which is hooning my guys. Now, the reason I don't fall back those Volks is because I've got these other flanking Volks up in the north. They're going to come in and use an incendiary grenade, or at least pressure that MG. In fact, there's no need for an incendiary grenade. And there comes the fallback. So, by not falling back that squad of Volks in the south, yes, they are pinned, but they're going to become unpinned in just a second, and then they're still going to be useful capping that point and things. Kugelwagen comes forward to help against all of those infantry up in the north. Light gun is still just hurling rounds out and doing damage where it can. But there's a machine gun in that building now and another machine gun in the north, so this is looking bleak again now. This is looking pretty bad. Those Volks in the south are too wounded. There comes the fallback. Kugelwagen's going to have to reverse move and kite. Volks in the north getting suppressed. They're going to have to fall back. Storm Pioneers are ready to rock. I sent them down to the south earlier on a flanking run to try and catch some reinforcing units or get round behind an MG. Found some Tommies there, which I'm going to try and run down. Quickly going to go and reinforce all my units. And and then fall back the Storm Pioneers because they're getting shot up. They're very wounded. And a ping from my friend saying that his mortar is in danger there, so he's saved it himself. There was nothing I could really do to help. My units are too far back, so I am moving them forward. Light gun is just supporting from where it is, but I'm considering moving it back because these guys are getting pretty close. An AT grenade comes down onto my Kugelwagen. The reverse move from me was too late, and it's going to get taken out by a Maxim. Now everybody's just constantly reinforcing. This is a lot of pressure that's hitting me right here, and if they overrun this position, it's really bad for overcommand. If you lose that first truck, you're just out of the picture for the next couple of minutes. Anyway, that machine gun is too close for the Light to barrage, so I'm going to have to move the Light back there. So just a quick reposition. Now here comes the flanking run. A squad of Volks goes to each side, left and right, while the Storm Pioneers run up the middle, and that leaves the Maxim with no good target, so he's going to have to reposition that, which he does very promptly using sprint. Light gun back in a nice position now, so that's going to start firing again. I'm going to deploy my Schwerpanzer HQ, hopefully far enough back where it won't take any fire where it's deploying, but it's not in a very good location, to be honest. But I just need that tech. I need to be able to build Obersoldaten or tanks like sooner rather than later. Now that the second light gun going to come down to how they're making such extensive use of machine guns and are pressuring me so hard, another light gunner will be a really nice choice, so going to go for that. These Volks Grenadiers, we're going to try and flank up to the north and get an incendiary onto that Maxim, but there's no such opportunity now. The Maxim has acquired them, and I see just there on the top right of the screen, you can see the British forward field HQ thingy, the forward assembly point being constructed, and that's something I don't want to finish. So going to grab the Lig, put a barrage on it, there we go. And then push up with the Volks. Again, I'm trying to keep the widest possible angle on my units, not blobbing them up, just sending one up, one to the right, and trying to bracket those MGs in between my Volks. The Schwerpanzer HQ finishes, but unfortunately I don't have the manpower for a squad of Obersoldaten just yet, which is what I was hoping to get because they're making such extensive use of infantry and weapons teams. And I also feel that with 2 Panzerschrecks I'm kind of covered for AT. So anyway, here comes Group 2, they're going to move in, try and get their jump on the MG. Group 1 is still healing at the moment, though I probably should have moved them out anyway. I think I just prioritised healing them, but that's probably wrong. Now, I heard the infantry knocked out there, which means that I actually managed to kill their engineers with the light gun. Pretty lucky there that they didn't move them when I was firing down their forward HQ. And the Panzerschreck in that location there, Group 2, are going to take out the forward HQ with the Panzerschreck, which is fantastic for me. That's quite an investment for the British player, which basically did nothing. And I'm just typing to my ally, thanks, I've not helped you in the south, because he's been helping me out loads. Look at these 2 mortar squads, and he came and helped me with those Flamer Pioneers, and I'm like, are you doing okay in the south? So I'm just going to quickly check on him. He looks like he's doing just fine. So I'm like, yeah. Light gun, maybe thinking about repositioning? Yeah, it's just going to creep forwards behind that Kugelwagen for heavy cover. Are you okay in the south? I'm asking him. So, yep, Storm Pioneers are going to look to salvage that Bren. All the fuel you can get is valuable. Obviously, I haven't chosen a commander yet because I haven't needed one, and I only choose a commander when I do need one. Pardon me. Volks Grenadiers just spreading out and capping, looking for mischief now because I've noticed that the pressure's off me, so my Volks Grenadiers can just go out, and like I say, they're like my sensory arms. I just poke them out and feel out where the enemies are, and they're also good first engagement units because they've got a Shrek, but they've also got rifles, so they're effective against all targets, even if they're not particularly hard hitting. So fanning out the Volks, capping ground, shift queuing up some capture orders there so I don't have to worry about that squad for a while. And Team Idlewood says, nah, I must help. So I'm like, okay, I'm on my way. So send him some Volks, send him some Storm Pioneers, going to come in and try and help. There's a lot of enemy units here. Seems like both the Allied players have decided to focus on the south of the map at the moment. Here comes an incendiary, but he keeps repositioning that Vickers gun. Now those Volks are going to stay just to lob the incendiary and then get the hell out because they were super low, and that was a risk, to be honest, to get that incendiary off. But probably worth it because I got the incendiary off onto a Vickers, and Vickers are really nasty units. If you can get them to fall back, you'll be able to operate much more freely. So, yeah, capping in the north, Storm Pioneers just pushing forwards, looking for opportunities to cause mischief. At this point, I kind of think that by sending my units directly to my friend, I was going to put some mines down there, but I get caught halfway through. I think by sending my units directly to my friend, they'll just get snared and caught down and probably deflected by machine guns and things. So instead, I'm going to head east with all my units and try and intercept their reinforcements and play havocs with their backfield. There are 2 ways you can help your friend. You can either go and help them directly in the fight, or if you're achieving gains elsewhere on the map, then your opponents aren't actually gaining anything by hammering your friend. It comes out even, so that was my thinking on that one. I choose a commander because I had loads of munitions, and I'm going to start building Goliaths to just spread a bit of fear and possibly blow some units up. Thing about Goliaths is, even if they never cause any damage to enemy units, the fear is always there, and oftentimes you'll be able to force lots of squads to fall back because they're just too close to a Goliath. Even if the Goliath never damages them, you've forced a lot of fallbacks, and for 100 munitions, that's fine by me. That squad, that was a really late reinforced. Now, as soon as the Obersoldaten arrive, I make them Group 6, equip them with the LMG-34. Nice Maxim there, so I'm going to sneak these Volksgrenadiers around this line of sight blocker and try and get an incendiary onto that Maxim, hoping that the Volks haven't been seen. Shift queuing up the incendiary, but then I decide to manually click it anyway. Bam! So that's a nice little incendiary there, and the Volks are able to slip away. Now here comes the Goliath. Remember, Goliaths do camouflage, so I'm looking for some cover. There it is, found a square with some cover, so I'm going to click that square. There it is, and the Goliath's just going to head on in there. Schwerepanzer HQ, I have enough manpower for another squad of... oh, there we go. See, look, I forced 2 fallbacks there just by sight of the Goliath, so that's like a win right there. If I could pay 100 munitions and make 2 enemy squads fall back whenever I liked, that would be pretty sweet. So, need to capture the middle victory point, so I'm queuing up the Obersoldaten to do so. Volksgrenadier is going to push forwards. Waiting for enough fuel for the Panther, but I decide that I've got enough time to build some Obersoldaten before the Panther arrives. So Obersoldaten are now on the way. I need to reinforce Group 1. Yep, there it is. Buying the repair tool and metal detector upgrade for the Storm Pioneers a little bit late. I could have been caught out by mines or demo packs many times, but seemingly that hasn't happened. And at this point, I'm getting a little bit antsy about that Goliath. I keep kind of clicking it and thinking about sending it in, and to be honest, it's much better left where it is. It's in a really nice position, but there we go. I'm going to send it in, and this is basically a mistake. Like, there's no cover there, so it's fully visible, and I think I was going to try and get that MG squad with it, but there's a whole load of conscripts, and they're just going to shoot it down. But that's still okay. I mean, the Goliath's a very cheap unit, really, so I don't mind losing one. You know, I mean, it is intended to be lost, so that's not so bad. Storm Pioneers and Volksgrenadiers just kind of skirmishing for position. Now my friend Idlewood has a couple of mortars backing me up, which is really nice. My light guns need to reposition because they're... Oh no, they are being active. Good, yeah, I just heard them firing. Yeah, okay, no, they're actually reasonably far forward. I take it back. I have to reposition them nicely. So the next squad of Obersoldaten is Control Group 7. So 6 and 7 are my Obersoldatens, 1, 2 are my Volks, 4 is the Storm Pioneers right now. Obersoldaten are going to come forward and try and booby trap that point, but they get interrupted by these engineers coming in, so they're going to have to fight those off. Of course, when units are planting booby traps, they're very, very fragile, so we don't want them to be laying booby traps whilst that's coming there. There comes the booby trap coming down now, so able to redo that. I've got quite a lot of munitions at the moment, so it's no problem to be laying these booby traps and so on. Just keeping an eye on them, because if they get caught out whilst they're laying those booby traps, it's a very expensive squad to lose, so I don't want to lose them. Pinging that Cromwell for some reason. I'm sure my ally is well aware of the fact that there's a Cromwell barreling down on him. And I do in fact have the resources to purchase a Panther, so I'm being a little bit late. There it is, there's the Panther click, there we go. Need that Panther ASAP. Obersoldaten are going to get in position in that building just to provide a frontline defence, and all of my AT units are heading south, so the Volksgrenadiers are heading down to the south, one of them by way of my battle group at HQ to reinforce, to try and help out with the tank situation there. The Obersoldaten are going to hold the north of the map, because there's no enemy units there, and if they send any infantry, the Obersoldaten will side them down. Here comes a Goliath, just looking to try and get the jump on a Cromwell maybe, or something like that, just kind of getting into position, hiding in a crater there. Obersoldaten just shift queuing up some movement there, just going to get them into a more forward position. Group 2 are now reinforced and ready to come and help. Group 1 are on their way to help my ally, I believe. I think they should be anyway. Because all of the allied armour is just there. And a barrage coming down from my ally to help. So as soon as the Panther arrives, I make it Group 8, put that MG on the build queue, and tell it to attack move to the front. For those of you who don't know, to attack move, you press A and then click where you want them to go, rather than just right-clicking. The difference between an attack move and a move is that on an attack move, units will stop and attack enemy units that they meet on the way, which basically means that they'll engage them at range rather than just sort of running blindly in or running blindly past opponents. So attack move is a safer way of moving. And it's just, I mean, I know that there's no enemy units between where the Panther spawned and where it's going, but just attack moving is safer because you never know what's going to happen, and there's no penalty for attack moving, so I may as well attack move there and not just regular move. Panzerschrecks here from my my Volks and my allies' Panzer Grenadiers, going to take out this Cromwell, which is nice. Obersoldaten doing a number on that infantry up in the north. I've got 2 squads there of Obersoldaten. And pushing up some Volksgrenadiers to come and support them. Here comes the Panther, it's arrived at the field, and of course notice that the MG42 Pintle mount has finished because I bought that upgrade as soon as it entered the battlefield. So it's going to hit the front with that upgrade ready to rock. Obersoldat in here going to try and take out some conscripts. They are taking a lot of fire, engaging at pretty poor range, but with 2 squads of Obersoldat, I should be able to tank through those conscripts. Speaking of tanks, I don't know why I was probably just deciding what to do with those Volks Grenadiers. I was like, oh, this is inefficient. There's conscripts on top of my Volks Grenadiers. Like, what can I do with them? Oh, I know, I'll just move the Panther in. That seems like a good idea. In the south, I've pushed up that Goliath a little bit. Here it is. Whoop. Oh, one of the opponents has decided to leave. He's seen enough. And the enemy team has surrendered at this juncture. So another relatively easy game here, but I think for the purposes of a live look-in video, that's just fine, because you get to see just like solid mechanics being used to good effect. Yeah. As it happens, I haven't actually lost a game for the last... Actually, you know what? I can't remember the last time I lost a game. So must have been last year for sure. So I will upload some videos of me losing, I promise you, but because there's a lot to be learned of videos when you're losing anyway, and probably a lot of mistakes that I can point out, which will be more useful possibly. So yeah, here's hoping I lose some games soon. God damn it, if only I could shake this damn winning spree. Anyway, yeah, so this is just me like analysing, just taking a look at the stats really. Not a lot to be seen, it's a pretty straightforward game. And yeah, that concludes this this live look-in. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you found it useful. Again, I would really appreciate some feedback on these live look-in videos. I've no idea if anyone's finding them useful, entertaining, boring, amazing, exciting, orgasmic. I've no idea what people are making of these, but I don't know, from my point of view, this is the kind of thing that I wish I had when I was learning the game, just because, you know, I'd been playing the game for like ages before somebody even told me what attack moving was, and I was just like, wait, what? You can that's really useful, oh my god. And trust me, attack moving is super useful. And like shift queuing of capturing, and using control groups, and because you know, if you have your units on control groups, that means you can fall back a unit and then press its number and then just press R to reinforce it without having to take your screen away from the action all the way back to your base, which means that you might miss a grenade or miss some crucial intel, like the position of an enemy machine gun or a tank coming out of fog of war for a second. You know, so it's important, and it keeps you on the front. So just all these little things are things that I've picked up over time, but I think it would have been useful if somebody would have presented them to me when I was fresh to the game. So anyway, that's the objective, that's the reason I'm making these videos. But please let me know if you're finding them useless and or insanely useful, whatever. Just let me know, that'd be super sweet. I'd really appreciate some feedback. So yeah, for that concludes this this 2v2 live look-in, and for now, this is Magpie842 signing out.